That Xfinity Series race at Atlanta Motor Speedway was definitely really crazy. That is for sure. What's going on, guys? It's Daniel, and welcome back to our video. We're going to today talk about the NASCAR Xfinity Series race at Atlanta Motor Speedway, the Echo Park 250 here at Atlanta Motor Speedway. Let's go ahead and just jump straight into it. We already got a Truck Series race earlier today, and that race was a lot calmer, and Kyle Busch pretty much dominated that race and was able to lead like 102 or 103 laps in that race. This race was really different in quite a few ways. There were a lot more wrecks compared to the truck race where there was actually no incidents in the race. The first caution in this race would actually come out around, well, the first caution was for competition yellow. Then the first incident of the day altogether for trucks and Xfinity would be Dexter B spinning, I think, in turn number 2. That would bring a caution out with around 6 or 7 laps to go in the first stage. Then we had the final restart for the end of stage 1, and the first major incident ended up taking place. It all started off with Brett Moffitt, who got a little bit sideways. He basically misjudged, pulled a Kyle Busch Darlington, where Kyle Busch got into Chase Elliott. Brett Moffitt got into, I think it was Brandon Jones, and he would take out a bunch of cars and hurt a lot of cars' chances to win this race, including Noah Gragson's, Austin Cinders, Brandon Jones, I think David Starr, and I also think Timmy Hill would all end up being involved in that crash. Martin Truex Jr. would come off the final corner during the caution, and he would win stage 1 here at Atlanta Motor Speedway. The second stage was honestly a lot more tame as well. There really weren't that many major incidents in the race up to that point. It was very chill for a second stage. And coming off the final corner for that, Martin Truex Jr. would actually go on and win stage 2 in this event. Martin Truex Jr. would dominate the early portions of this race. Then we get to stage 3, and once again, there was definitely some good racing throughout the field. He had some covers and goers throughout the race, and Martin Truex Jr. had the race lead. And then the big moment of the race for all the craziness started happening came with around 50 laps to go in this race. Mason Massey, who was having a decent run throughout the day, I think it was running in the top 20 or top 25 most day, he actually got a little bit loose and spun coming off of turn 4. It seemed like he may have blown up or just had a tire going down at the time. That would bring out the caution with 50 laps to go. And the big moment of this race would end up taking place on the pit stops. Martin Truex Jr., who arguably had the best car all race long, who dominated the first 100 and 102 of the first 112 laps, he would get a speeding penalty on pit road, and he would have to go to the tail end of the longest line. And then the next caution in this race would come out about 2 or 3 laps later on the ensuing restart for Jeremy Clements and Jeff Burton. Jeff Burton, it seemed like having a cut down tire going into the corner, and Jeremy Clements' clip. It was really unfortunate because Jeremy Clements, he was having a really good run at Atlanta Motor Speedway. He's on the front row because of the choose rule, but he was running top 5 a majority of the day, and unfortunately this would take him out overall of contention in this race. And then we go back racing for a little bit, and I think the final caution came out around 30 laps ago. I don't remember exactly what the last caution would come out for, but around 30-something laps to go in this race, everyone would come down pit road, and we would have an incident take place on pit road between Daniel Hemric and Noah Gragson. Daniel Hemric apparently was trying to clear the spin on that car of Mason Massey, who was having trouble at this point. And then apparently Noah Gragson was not very happy because Hemric kind of clipped this box a little bit, which it was an accident in my opinion on that. And then Noah Gragson basically decided to pull a rookie in a stupid move and flip him off. And then he basically backed up and could have endangered a lot of pit crew members. Now, in my opinion, the move by Noah Gragson to do that was absolutely ridiculous, disgraceful, and unjustified. I don't care if you're mad at somebody, you do not back your race car up into a driver, especially with the fact that you have pit crew members around that are literally feet from your race car. And if you back up, you can endanger those pit crew members. And it really, in my honest opinion with that, I think Noah Gragson, man, NASCAR might look at that, maybe suspend Noah Gragson. I really don't know. But Noah Gragson was bouncing back. He was definitely a man on a mission at the end of the race. But I just don't understand what Noah was doing there. That was a very unexcusable act by Noah Gragson. And I don't know if NASCAR is going to pull some action. I think they should, because what Noah Gragson did there was absolutely ridiculous. And he should be in trouble for that because he could have hurt people right there. And then we get back to final restart, and it would basically be a race between Justin Allgaier and Martin Truex Jr. at the end of the race. Martin Truex Jr. restarted around 6th or 7th at the time, and he started charging up to the front, got around guys like Noah Gragson and Harrison Burton, and it looked like Martin Truex Jr. was actually going to catch Justin Allgaier at the end of the race. He was really starting to run Justin Allgaier down. But unfortunately, the lap cars kind of played a factor into this, and Truex was down to about 2/10 at one point. But I guess he just tires up way too much because he was not able to really get any closer to that, and he never got under about a second. Justin Allgaier was able to pull away at the end of the race. I thought we were getting one of those Atlanta finishes, but Justin Allgaier was able to pull away up out front, and he was able to hold on. And after not a great start of the year in 2021, Justin Allgaier comes off the final corner and holds out Martin Truex Jr., and he wins his first race of 2021. This one was dedicated to Rowdy Harrell. Rowdy Harrell, for those who know, died in a I think it was a driving accident that took place in Florida, which was really, really, really sad, unfortunately, to hear. That one was dedicated, and it's not been a great year for Justin Allgaier up to this point. He finally got his first top 10 in the 5th race of the year, and now he comes to this weekend's race and finally scores a win. Justin had to put together finally a really, really good race, and in my honest opinion, he deserves this win. Congratulations to Justin Allgaier on winning today's race. Meanwhile, during the post-race interviews that Fox Sports was giving to Martin Truex Jr. to finish second, there was a fight that ended up taking place on pit road between Daniel Hemric and I think it was Noah Gragson. Yeah, it was Noah Gragson. Basically, Daniel Hemric was not very happy for the incident. He went up there and pushed, and a fight started breaking out. Pit crew members got involved right there. And there were quite a few punches that were thrown. I think Daniel Hemric clocked him in the eye, I believe, and then Noah Gragson, I think, clocked him in the face. Now, I'm going to say my opinion on the fight. Noah's not afraid to give his opinion on certain things, especially in his post-race interview. But to me, the person to blame overall, I think, is Noah Gragson overall. Yes, Daniel Hemric probably should have punched him and knocked him out if he was going to do it, to be honest with you. But Daniel Hemric would have never gone over there if Noah would not have pulled a stupid move. Daniel Hemric was really, really pissed off more than anything that he could have gotten, that his pit crew members basically could have gotten injured from the incident. So to me, I think Daniel Hemric had every right to be upset. I wish he would have knocked him out. That would have been funny. And by the way, I am a huge Noah Gragson fan. I like Noah Gragson a lot. I like Daniel Hemric a lot. But I think what Noah Gragson has been doing, some of the things he's been doing have been really, really stupid. And Noah Gragson was bouncing back and having a really good run at the end of the night. But that move he pulled, that was a rookie move, and I do not disagree with Daniel Hemric going to beat him up. I really wish he did. I think it's a little bit unnecessary for the pit crew members to get involved and start because you could have endangered pit crew members at the time, and pit crew members could have gotten really, really seriously hurt. But I do not disagree with Daniel Hemric overall being really pissed off and going up there and trying to hurt him. That is just my opinion. Well, not hurt him, but just beat him because one day, Noah Gragson is going to piss off the wrong dude and he's going to get his ass kicked. And he needs to get his ass kicked at some point because, in my opinion, Daniel Hamrick have a right to be really, really upset overall about that incident. That is just my opinion on that. And that fight's going to definitely be talked about for quite some time. So now, let's go ahead and go through the race results of today's race and then give you my score of today's race at Atlanta Motor Speedway. Let's go ahead and start off with the winner. Justin Allgaier today won today's race. Martin Truex Jr. had to bounce back from that speeding penalty I mentioned. He comes home with a second place run. For the guy who's not run in 11 years, I thought he was going to run away with this thing, but unfortunately he didn't run away. But a second place run for Martin Truex Jr., not a bad run for Martin Truex. A really strong run for him in the 54 for Joe Gibbs Racing. Finishing third today is Harrison Burton. Harrison Burton ran top 5 a lot of the day, and he had a top 2 car a lot of this day, but gets a third place finish. Solid run for Harrison Burton. Noah Gragson bounces back to a 4th place finish. A guy that, has not had a great start to the year. He was definitely angry and frustrated. He was driving really mad. Gets a 4th place finish. Solid run for Noah Gragson. 5th place goes to A.J. Allmendinger, who was involved in the big one early as well. He bounced back to a top 5 run. Great run for A.J. Allmendinger at the end of the day. Riley Hurst finished his 6th. Riley Hurst had, I think, arguably the best run he's had all season long. He ran a top 10 all day, had a top 5 car a lot of the day as well, but gets a 6th place run, hoping that the luck is turning around for him. I'm not the biggest fan of Riley Hurst, but I do understand that Riley Hurst having a good run, and good run for Riley Hurst today. Michael Annett finished his 7th, great run for him. Justin Haley finished safe. He had a top 2 or 3 car. I don't know what happened to Justin Haley's car at the end of the race, but he kind of fell off at the end of the day. 9th place goes to Daniel Hemric. He didn't run terribly great all day, but he didn't run terrible either in this race. And Ryan Sieg finished his 10th. Great run for Ryan Sieg. Maya Center finished 11th. Jeremy Collins finished 12th. Austin Cindric finished his 13th. First time he's finished outside the top 5 all season after getting involved in the big one as well early in the race. He finished his 13th. Landon Castle finished his 14th in this race. He was running like 25th or 26th. I don't know how he got up to top 15, but gets a 14th place finish. Nice run for him. 15th place goes to Santino Ferrucci. He was in the top 5 at one point tonight, which was really, really impressive to say the least. Ran top 10 quite a bit of the day and finished his 15th. Not a bad run for Santino. I think that's his 3rd straight 15th place finish. Great run for Santino Ferrucci. Josh Williams finished his 16th. Alex Bay finished 17th. Tommy Joe Martins finished 18th. Jeff Hart finished his 19th. And finishing 20th today is Timmy Hill. 21st place goes to Colby Howard. 22nd place goes to Jesse Little. 23rd place goes to Cody Ware. 24th place goes to Bailey Curry. 25th place goes to Jeff Burton, who unfortunately went a lap down. I think that would take him out of contention after his tire failure, which he was doing really, really good, and that would take him out of contention when the tire went down. 27th place goes to Jay Buford. 28th, David Starr. 27th, David Starr. 28th, Kyle Weatherman. 29th place goes to Joe Graff Jr., and Blaine Perkins finishes 30th. 30th place, Ryan Vargas. 32nd, Mason Massey. 33rd, Brandon Brown. I don't know what happened to Brandon Brown. I think he got involved in the big one early in the race, which is unfortunate because he was running really, really good early in the race. Matt Mills finished 34th. 35th goes to Dexter Beam. 36th place goes to Greg Dalding. Brandon Jones finishes 37th. Josh Berry finishes 30th. I wanted to actually talk about that for a second, too. That actually would be the final caution of the race. I just forgot about that. Josh Berry, he would end up getting a little bit sideways. He was starting to bounce back up to the front. But Ryan C got a little bit loose coming around 30 laps to go in this race, and that unfortunately would take Josh Berry out. And it looked like he was going to survive, and then he hit the grass. Team Valence. The splitter sucks. They need to overall get rid of the splitter because Josh Berry probably would have been able to continue in the race. Yes, Corey was really high, so that might have damaged and destroyed the car. But hey, I'm not a fan of splitter. We need to overall get rid of the splitter, plain and simple. 39th place goes to Chad Fincham, and finishing last in today's race is Brett Moffitt after causing the big one in today's race. So, let's go ahead and give you my score of today's race at Atlanta Motor Speedway, the second race of today for the NASCAR Xfinity Series. I'm going to say this right here. I thought the NASCAR Xfinity Series race today was overall a decent race. It wasn't a great race. A lot of this race would, of course, be dominated Mark Truex Jr., but I thought there were a lot of times where you could see side-by-side racing, unlike the Truck Series, and he had a lot of comers and goers through the field. Early in the race, he had guys like Brett Moffitt up in the front, Brandon Brown up in the front, Jeremy Clements up in the front. But as the race continued on, you also saw some of the front runners and some of the guys that are involved in the big one. They were starting to come back to the front. Guys like Noah Gragson, AJ Allmendinger, and even Austin Cindric at the time were starting to make their way up to the front. I'm going to give today's score of today's NASCAR Xfinity Series race, and overall, a not a terrible finish overall, and really, really good win, and dedicated to Rowdy Harrell. Really, really good win, and congratulations once again to Justin Allgaier. Winning my score for today's race at Atlanta Motor Speedway for the NASCAR Xfinity Series is going to be a 6.5 out of 10. Like I said, I wanted a little bit more in this NASCAR Xfinity Series race, but I think it was the better race of the two of today for the Truck Series and Xfinity Series. So, anyway, that is going to be for today's race review from Atlanta Motor Speedway for the NASCAR Xfinity Series. I want to thank you guys for watching. Please like, subscribe to the channel, notifications so you can be notified when a video does go live on my channel. Follow me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, and support me on Patreon as well. Links description below for that, and comment your thoughts on today's race. What are your thoughts about today's race? Congratulate Justin Allgaier on the win, and what are your thoughts about the Daniel Hemric and Noah Gragson fight? Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed today's video, make sure you like so YouTube can recommend more of these great videos out to you guys. Do that, I greatly and truly appreciate it. Anyway, like I said, I want to thank you guys for watching today's video, and I'll see you guys next time. Take care, everybody.